For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Action-packed 3-hour program lined up today. Plenty of Major League Baseball. Strong card coming up tonight. A lot on the U.S. Open. High-quality guests today on the program as well. Jeff Seeley and Wes Reynolds on that golf tournament. David Purdom on the program today. A lot to get into with him, including the updated news regarding that betting tax in the state of Illinois. And Derek Stevens, also the owner and CEO of this great property, coming up in his usual Tuesday spot as well. And Paulie will begin with the National Hockey League and what took place last night, Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. As good as the first two games were combined, last night was equally as bad. I turned it off. It was unwatchable to me.
Yeah.
Total rout. And then, we had that discussion. Are they going to swallow the whistle? Are we going to get a clean game? Who's going to take it? I mean, what do we have, 140 penalty minutes last night?
Yeah, the Oilers set the record.
One of the worst games I've ever watched in my entire life for half of it. And I just said, that's enough.
Yep. It's too bad. I thought this could be an all-timer. They got their asses kicked, and then they lost every fight as well. They tried to get physical, and Florida beat them up with the fights, too. So I thought Skinner should have been pulled earlier, try to wake him up.
Way earlier, right?
Yeah, you got to send a message to the team, and by then it was over. So, if you wanted to do in-play and get aggressive, I mean, again, you got the goal right off the bat as well. Goal in the first 5 is now 3-0, and every first period has gone over as well. So 9 of the last 10 have gone over head-to-head. They bury them again. It's $1.45 on Thursday. They're minus 260 adjusted series price. I know what happened last year, but this feels like a different ball game where I think Edmonton's season is on the line on Thursday. I think it's too hard to come back and beat these guys 3 in a row. And first things first, they got to fix their defense. They got to stay out of the box. Draisaitl's on a milk carton. I don't have a lot of confidence in Skinner, although it wasn't on him. Knoblauch had his back a little bit. That was an abomination.
I totally agree. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's over with. Can't do that because of what happened last year. And Edmonton is very, very good.
I'm saying if they go down 3-1. You won't go there?
You're right.
You won't go there?
No, I won't go there right now.
All right.
We'll not go there right now.
Yeah.
But it's quite clear to me that they have to have Game 4.
Yep.
And now how do they respond? I guess the extra day now is going to be helpful to them, right? Because how would you like to pick yourself up off the mat if you're one of the Edmonton Oilers players after last night and play already tomorrow night if you had a game? That would not be a lot of fun. Unless they just want to get that, they're pros, I get it, get that sour taste out of their mouths. But they were defeated in every single aspect, in every inch of the game imaginable last night. And I don't know how you shake that one off. It was a total beatdown after they were pretty much dead even with the Panthers in the first two games. And I'll tell you what, this is where Game 2, blowing that power play and allowing that shorthanded goal and losing the game eventually, this is where it's going to come back and bite them in the ass.
You're right.
Should have had a 2-0 series lead going back to Florida. Didn't, and now here you go, stuck 2-1. Good luck, boys.
Yep. Would you make a goalie change?
Well, what about all these numbers I've been told about for 3 weeks now with Skinner games 4 through 7?
Yep.
Does that mean anything at all? Probably not.
I have to trust it. I'm going to give him one more game. And then I make the change. I go back to Pickard. And I know Knoblauch hasn't said who he's going to start on Thursday, but he said he can't put a lot of those goals and mistakes on Skinner as well. And then they give up 3 power play goals. So I have to let him go Game 4. He's on a short leash. And then if it goes sideways, that's it. You try to make the change and go back to the guy that was so good early on for you.
How short is the leash? What if Marchand sticks one in again 2 minutes into the game? Is that it? Yank him?
No, it's not crazy like the board.
It's not Ottinger?
Not that. It's, no. It's also based on feel, too. Depends what happens. It's not just, okay, they scored. Is it a soft goal?
Sure, of course.
Is it that's how you play into it as well.
How about some of those snipes last night as the former goalie?
Yeah.
First of all, the The Verhaeghe shot was unbelievable. How does he squeeze that in? He has this much room to operate, and he put it in over his shoulder. Right? He had an inch. And he got it in the net somehow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And there was one later in the game that was similar to that as well, beating him, high stick side. So those are tough to stop. I understand that. But I guess when is too late? Because if you're down 2-0 first period and the Florida Panthers score 2 easy goals and you can't come back from that, is that decision to start Skinner going to come back and haunt you and cost you the entire Stanley Cup? Because then you're going to be down 3-1 under that scenario? But what if he does pull the plug on him going into Game 4, and then Pickard is just absolutely an abomination?
Yeah, I know. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. How about props standpoint? How crazy has this been from props? And again, all these big tickets are cashing, and guys that score. Bennett does it again.
Huh?
Marchand does it again. Verhaeghe does it again. Bob, the saves go over. He's great. Even though Draisaitl doesn't get a single shot on goal, we got several emails saying play against him, with Barkov on him and how Florida changed things and tinkered around, and Maurice making changes as well.
Yeah, they equated that because they noticed that last night Barkov is going to be shadowing Draisaitl for probably the rest of the series. And it's like the common analogy that we saw was you're sticking your best cornerback in the NFL on a receiver who's tearing up everybody, and then you say, okay, try to beat us now because we're gonna shadow you the entire time. We're not moving this guy off of the receiver the entire game. And if he goes for 10 catches and 100 yards, then he's just unbelievable. We don't think he can do that. So I guess that's going to be the game plan, and then they'll send 100 different guys at McDavid in every game when he's on the ice.
Yeah, and then ladder Bouchard shots on goal. Can't lose. What good point? Good job pointing that out. 12-1 cast. He had 9 shots on goal.
Yeah.
9. I can't believe it.
He was 12-1, I believe, yesterday on the show. We brought that up to lead the game. I think DraftKings might be the only book that offers that. If not, then I missed it at other books.
Could be, yeah, I know.
But he was on fire. He had 15 shots in the first 2 games. He was leading everybody. You offered a big number on him to lead last night, and he did, with 9, like you said.
Okay, who's the Conn Smythe winner? Who's the leader as of now? Bennett is now plus 160 at DraftKings. Most goals in the playoffs. Scored again last night. This is getting juicy. It's getting interesting.
Well, I would think it's going to be him, but also, like, how much stock will voters put into Bobrovsky's performance last night?
Right. Now, that's a good point. And beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So, Game 1, 4-3 Edmonton. Game 2, 5-4 Florida. There's people going back and forth about how well, or did he play well, in the first 2 games. So, you look at, yes, he gave up goals, but then you see how many saves he had as well.
That's right.
That's a tough discussion. I don't know what people are going to decide when it comes time to vote, and you factor in the whole body of work. I think it's because you're winning high-scoring games, and Bennett's leading the charge and setting all these records, that it's got to be Bennett. The Marchand thing is an overreaction, although he's played well, but to be as low as 4-1, I think is too low. I would have it Bennett and then Bob from a Florida standpoint with the ladder, but then, I mean, you won the game 6-1. I guess the thing that could help Bob out is so many guys are scoring for Florida.
Yeah, that could be.
And that's the thing. But with high-scoring games, it was an interesting back and forth when you're looking at some of the stuff, what people are saying about Bob, about how well has he played in this series and who deserves to get the Conn Smythe if Florida wins it.
Yeah, and I want to know how much also, like, recency bias is going to play into this with Brad Marchand, right? Because what if he goes on to lead the entire series in goals? And you cannot deny how big his goals have been. He was the reason why they won Game 2. The shorthanded goal still is the absolute killer to me. And then the one in overtime, forget about it. Last night, to get one past him to begin the game and set the tone like that, the place is on fire. And you already doubt's going to be creeping into the mind of Stuart Skinner then. Oh, boy, that's really 90 seconds into the game when I gave up one already. Oh, this is going to be a long night. So, will they look at the overall numbers in the Stanley Cup for Marchand if this continues and say that's going to outweigh the rest of the playoffs? I would hope not. I think as of right now, Bennett clearly should be the short shot on the board, and he is. And if it ended today, if last night would have been the clincher of the series, I think he has to win the award.
Yeah. Yep. And not only do the Oilers have to win, now Draisaitl has to do something incredible after getting shut out and not being a factor at all.
Well, how about the guy who scored last night?
Yes, he continues to deliver. Perry was 3-1 to score a goal. And St. Cloud, Minnesota had an assist again. With Schmidt at 3-1.
That's right.
You pointed that out. He keeps delivering. But, yeah, Perry's been the guy.
So he's 300-1. If Edmonton gets back into the series, Again, they're going to look. Voters will absolutely gravitate towards Connor McDavid. But here's another thing, right? You cannot deny how effective and how impactful Perry's timely goals have been, and his impact on the series. By the way, that goes for a lot of the playoffs as well. Guy's been a monster.
Yep.
And so he's 300-1. I don't know if it's worth a bet or not, because again, if they come back, how are they going to look at McDavid? And maybe I don't know. I don't think you can bet Draisaitl at this point after last night. But Bouchard's also 300-1.
Oh, yeah.
Can anybody win it on Edmonton other than McDavid at this point?
No.
Well, then there you go. Then there's no conversation to be had.
No, that's it. Unless, again, we're not talking, it's like we talked about earlier with Skinner. Davis said he had to have 3 shutouts. It's like Draisaitl's got to have a hat trick now or something. Or maybe 2 of them. Want to bet smarter this football season? Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Full year, $199. Free pre-order of the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook by Josh Applebaum. No-nonsense guide to reading the market, spotting sharp action, and making smarter NFL bets. Sign up now. Get instant access to every email, or the daily email from Bill Adie, and every best bet, every host, every guest, the real-time betting splits, the dog videos, and our NFL betting guide, which drops July 1st. Limited time offer. VSiN.com/subscribe. Promo code BOOK to sign up. I had enough as well, and put it on mute at the end, but still had it on in case something happened. Did you see when they showed Eddie Olczyk, though, when he was drafted by the Blackhawks?
No, definitely missed that.
Did you miss that with Lemieux and how young he looked? Oh, that was wild.
Yeah, looked like he was 16 years old.
Yes.
I couldn't do it, Paul. It was such an awful game.
Wow, the penalties.
The penalties were, it was just unwatchable. I'm sorry. That game sucked last night.
Yeah. But I go back to game 1. The referees are too involved here.
I know.
I mean,
I don't disagree.
Most of this series, you throw out the third period, which, by the way, last night looked like the third period of game 1 against Dallas with Edmonton.
It did.
But every time you look up, it's like someone's on the power play.
Yep.
Let them play.
Yep. Too much of that crap. So up next, we'll get into, one of the biggest sports books in the country, their decision, if I can speak English here, what they did today in the state of Illinois. Strong comments, and I'm glad the CEO said this, and a bet that I made for Game 3 of the NBA Finals next here on VSiN.
That's what I always say.
Follow the money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Great show today. A lot of fun, action-packed as always. U.S. Open. In this hour, David Purdom on the program on the tax, the newly introduced tax in the state of Illinois going back to last week. That, and how about online abuse to all these athletes from bettors, and how big of a scumbag you got to be to do some of this crap that people do. We'll touch on that coming up in about a half an hour. Here, it is U.S. Open time with Jeff Seeley. You can follow him on X. He is at Cupmaker Jeff, and the name of his podcast is the Cupmaker Podcast, which is going to be out a little bit later on tonight. Pal, you did it again with Ryan Fox last week, and this run goes all the way back to February. It's got to be all-time good for you, as we've touched on, in previous weeks as well.
Yeah, no, guys, it's been a ton of fun, and this week, actually, guys, to be honest, my approach has been different than it has the entire season, and it stems solely of the difficulty of this golf course. And we'll talk about that because, this, simply put, is the hardest golf course in the world, and this is a handicap unique to all in and of itself. So I'm excited to dig into it.
Yeah, think about this. So it's a par 70, right? So that's 280 for the entire weekend. And the prop, the finishing score, is 278.5. How many times do we see a tournament where the prop is basically, are you going to be over or under, 1 under to win this thing? That's nuts.
Never. The answer is never, right? And I think we talked about Angel Cabrera won this, 10 years ago or 20 years ago or so at 5 over, right? DJ won last time it was here at 4 under. So, you think about that, it just tells you how hard. And if you have not seen, if you're listening to the show, you've probably seen some of the clips. But if you have not seen some of the clips of the rough, it's unbelievable. And what's interesting, Jeff Sherman actually sent me a clip that Rory McIlroy's quote was, he birdied the last 2 holes on Tuesday and shot 81.
Yes. Yes. How about that?
How hard this golf course is right now.
Yeah. So what did you say off air? It's like putting on glass and chipping through the jungle?
Chipping through the jungle. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an unreal. I mean, honestly, six-inch rough right now. I mean, it is insane. And obviously, hopefully they'll cut it down maybe a little bit. But guys, it is going to be as difficult a test as there is in golf. And I think it's fun, right? I mean, I don't love 35 under, and I don't necessarily want to see 8 over, but I don't mind to score around par. And there's certainly some guys this favors and other guys it doesn't, right? Some guys play really well in a shootout, and guys who grind it out, can tend to compete some of these things a little better. So I'm super excited, but I think it definitely does narrow down the field dramatically this week of guys who can actually win.
Yeah, boy, right now on one of the screens here in the studio, the fellas have up recent winners at the U.S. Open. And, 2 years ago in L.A., Wyndham Clark was 10 under at that time. Gary Woodland, I believe that was Pebble Beach in 2019 to get to 13 under. Koepka won it in 2018 at 1 over. But look, he did back-to-back. Look at your boy Brooks in 2017. He was 16 under. That was at, was that Aaron Hills in Wisconsin?
Aaron Hills. Yep, Aaron Hills. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that's where you want to start this week is going to war with your boy Brooks.
I'm actually fading him in a matchup this week. He's matched up against Tony Finau, and while Tony Finau's form isn't great, I actually think Koepka's nursing an injury. To be honest, he seems like he's chronically nursing an injury lately, but he's got no form at all. Finau, we at least see some signs of life from. He doesn't look totally dead, and he actually played well here. The last time your Winfield Open, he's played well in the Opens here recently. So, and even last year at the Open, he was T3. Finau's got some form. 31st at Memorial, 19th at PGA Championship, 15th at the Truist. So he's got some form. Koepka's got nothing. So I'm certainly like Finau in that matchup on DraftKings.
Yeah. This course and this event has been screaming one golfer in particular to me for weeks, and I bet him on the Sunday at the PGA Championship, and he's the guy that you want to make the case for, right, to go to war with, and it's Bryson, yeah?
Mitch, it's really not even close, to be honest. I mean, there's so many cases for him, right? The best comp course for Oakmont is Winged Foot. Who won at Winged Foot? Bryson. Who was the winner of the last U.S. Open? Bryson. Majors form coming in, 5th at the Masters, T2 at the PGA Championship, Bryson. When I talk about my first grade model I run every week, just a super simple model. Number 1 player in it, Bryson. So yeah, at the top of the board, I've used some odds boost and parlayed them with some different stuff to get the odds up a little higher. I sent you guys a parlay I made where I parlayed Bryson to win the U.S. Open with the Pacers to win the series 4-2, right? Just fun things like that. A lot of different ways you can get creative with Bryson. But I would highly encourage you to have that be your highest exposed golfer this week, and I for good reason. I think he is definitely the favorite to win in my mind.
Rahm seems popular. How do you want to play Rahm? What's the best way?
Yeah, I was thinking through that, and I think my favorite way to play him is in the nationality markets at top European at plus 400. I can make a case for him in the outright market, but this is sort of my version of the winner without that we see a lot. There are certainly some other talented European players who could make a run, but none with the pedigree, course experience, and form of Rahm, especially if you don't think Rory's going to get there, as I don't. I consider Rahm the number 3 player in the world right now, behind Scotty and Bryson. Solid experience in both Winged Foot and Oakmont in the U.S. Opens. 8th at the PGA, 14th at the Masters. So he's one of the LIV guys who's not completely lost. And, you say what you want about LIV, but he's finished at least top 10 in every tournament since he's been on tour. So he's at least got some form. I'm definitely interested in some Jon Rahm this week.
Are you drawing a line through Rory McIlroy? Are you fading him? Like, what number would you need to bet him to win this thing outright?
20.
Okay.
That's the number I need right now. Yeah, honestly, probably 20. I'm sure that the books are going to need some Rory because they're going to have a lot of exposure at the top. I don't think anyone will be on Rory, and I certainly won't. If you're playing DraftKings, if you're playing DFS, he may be a good play just for leverage because I think everyone will be off him completely.
Okay, let's talk mid-tier. We're in the 30 to 60 to 1 range. Couple guys here. Walk us through it.
Sure. So I know it's LIV, but Joaquin Niemann is in really good form, and I'd rank him ahead of everyone else outside of Scotty, Bryson, Rahm, and Rory. So he's my favorite play in the winner without market at 18 to 1. 18th at the PGA, 29th at the Masters is solid. And believe it or not, guys, The number 2 player in the field in driving distance behind Bryson is Niemann over the last 36 rounds. So he profiles statistically very, very similar to Bryson, and people don't ever talk about that. 1, 2 of the last 4 live events. Again, see what you want about live, but he's winning golf tournaments. And doesn't it feel like Niemann's been around forever? He's only 26. It feels like he's been around on tour for 10 years. I'm a big believer in Niemann this week, so I do like him a lot in the winner without market, and you can play him at 30-1 if you're interested there. Full disclosure here, I'm become an Oberg homer. He's my favorite player on tour now, and I bet him in the each-way market at 28-1, in the top 5 each-way market. The alternate way to bet that is to bet him to win and bet him top 5. We know the guy, the talent here is undeniable. You watch him hit a ball, it looks different than everyone else. He found some form guys, though, with back-to-back finishes inside the top 16. His game reminds me a lot of a young Dustin Johnson. Physically, they look a lot the same. His swing looks even better than DJ's. He's 6th in the field in gaining off the tee, and for Oberg, I think it's going to come down to putting. He's capable of putting well, as he has in the last 2 majors, and if you knew going in that he would gain 3.5 strokes putting like he has in those last 2 majors, then he would be 20-1 or less this week. So I think it's going to come down to putting for him. I've said this a lot this year, but the window of getting Oberg at this price in majors will be short-lived. Get it while the getting's good. And the last guy, guys, in this mid-range, I never play Patrick Cantlay. He's 55-1, and he's never won a major. I made a really small bet on an odds boost on Cantlay in the pure outright market. But again, I think he's another guy you look at in the winner without market, because I do think he's live for a top 5 finish, but may not run down some of the big dogs like Bryson, Scotty, etc. My only real fear with Cantlay is the short game. But if you're chipping out of the rough this week, that's going to be a nightmare for everyone. There was a time 4 years ago when I considered Cantlay the best putter in the world. Now, that was then, this is now. His putter can still get hot, though, like it did at the Genesis when he gained 6 strokes on the green. Gained off the tee in 7 straight events, and with the irons in 9 of his last 10. The ball striking's there. If the putter can get hot, we're getting a great price on Cantlay who could make a run. So those are my 3 guys in the mid-tier.
Okay, so you had my attention with everybody you talked about. You really need to twist my arm with Cantlay even a little bit more. I would add this, right? If you're going to bet him at 55-1, I think you got to bet him in placements as well, right? Just to back it up, because I don't know if he can beat this field personally, but I could see him making a run, finishing top 20, maybe top 10, something like that. So I think you'd have to add that on top of it.
No, for sure, Mitch. And that's why, he's 22-1 in the winner without market, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a really good way to play him too. So yeah, I agree. I think you play him winner without and you play him top 5, top 10. I agree. Even top 20 may be okay, but he could flame out and not even finish top 20. So if you're going to play, if he's probably kind of a top 10 or bust for me, but he's definitely live to finish top 10 just with his current form, and his ball striking is in good shape. Okay,
you're going to hang around for one more segment. You're going to make a case for some other bombs, actually, where we're going to get to the bombs, 100-1 or more that you like. Before we do that, hole-in-one this week, it feels like it's unlikely. Would you bet the no?
Sure. I'd put a little piece of money on the no. Sure, I would make a big bet on it, but I think it's very unlikely this week. I agree.
All right, Thursday, okay. We'll talk to you live from Rocco's. We're going to Omaha Thursday, Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Special Saturday, Follow the Money. I thought it was 9. It says 10. What'd they do to me? It's all happening from Rocco's, the Jell-O shot capital of the world. Join us for College World Series coverage and the best bets. VSiN.com/CWS for all the details and a free College World Series betting guide. Catch us Thursday, Friday, Saturday from Rocco's.
10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central Time.
Thank you.
There you go. We'll continue with Jeff Seeley next. Paul, can you remember a 100-1 shot being this popular?
Oh, God.
We'll ask him about it coming up.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue talking U.S. Open bets with Jeff Seeley. You can follow him on X at Cutmaker Jeff. His podcast is called the Cutmaker Podcast, coming out later on tonight. And by the way, if you missed the first segment, you can always go back when the show is done and get the Follow the Money podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, and you can check it out then. But we'll continue here as we get to his true bombs now for the week, 100-1 or higher. And the guy that I was talking about before the break with Paulie, like, have we ever seen a guy this popular that's in the triple digits, or was, should I say, because people have been on him left and right. But state your case. The floor is yours. Why do you like Harris English this week?
Yeah, guys, first of all, I think the market's come crashing down on this, and some places have got it seen, but I play Harris English a lot, as you guys well know, but this is one of these weeks where first you just look at his major form, recent form, second at the PGA, 12th at the Masters. So again, his current major form is really good. His last event, he finished T12 at the Memorial, another very good finish at a tough course. U.S. Opens, he's played in 9, he has top 10s in 3 of them, and he finished 4th at Winged Foot in 2020, again, the biggest comp course for Oakmont, and 37th in Oakmont in 2016. He's never going to win an event that's 28 under, but he can win an event when the winning score is -4 by just making pars. I think he's a terrific ladder play, 40, 30, 20, top 10, and top 5. You can make him an outright, but I think the ladder play is really appropriate. I would make him your primary ladder bomb this week. Of course, I say that since the whole world's on him, he will probably miss the cut.
Yeah.
But that said, the case is really easy to make, and you can see why the market's come crashing down as it has. There's just so much to like about Harris English this week.
Here's the only bet that I have on him so far, because, like you said, it completely crashed, and I missed all the good numbers on him, other than 70-1 first-round leader. And this is a guy who has had like some awesome rounds in like big time tournaments for many, many years in the first round. So 70-1 on him in a tournament that maybe fits his style. I'm on board.
I think that's a terrific bet. No, I agree. I'm with you there.
Okay. Who's next then on the board in the triple, digits for this tournament?
Guys, do you remember maybe 2 years ago when Cam Young was talked about almost like the next Jon Rahm? I mean, he was the guy, he was the it guy, and really just struggled for a while. But guys, he is 150-1 and is in prime position to have success at the U.S. Open. The driver's been good in 3 straight. The putter's been great. There's a ton to like here. My only fear would be around his accuracy with the driver, but for this price, we'll take the risk. Terrific bomb play this week, and one I expect to be popular, not quite as much as Harris English, but I do think he'll be popular in DFS and a popular bet. But this next one, guys, is sneaky, especially for DFS. Carlos Ortiz, 200-1 ladder play. Has he played well in U.S. Opens? No, but he has experience in U.S. Opens. He's played in 4 of them. And again, why I expect Cam Young to be a sexy bomb, I think Ortiz will be very, very under-owned in DFS, and no one will be on him. Over the last 36 rounds, Ortiz and Young have the exact same driving distance. Ortiz with 10% better accuracy and 11% more greens in regulation. Again, I know it's live, but Ortiz has still finished inside the top 10 in 4 of the last 5 events there and 16th in the other. So another guy I think is really interesting to look at. Another way I like to play him is in the rest of the world market on DraftKings, their nationality props. He's 22-1 there. I like him better than Siwoo Kim. I like him better than Sungjae Im. I like him better than Minwoo Lee. So I think there's at least 50 cents of value there, if not more. I think I like 22-1 a lot in that rest of the world market as a creative way to play Ortiz. And again, you're not investing a ton of money. It's a bomb, but he's a guy you definitely want to take a look at, and I think can sneak his way into a pretty high finish here.
I thought you would have more of those with nationality props and some other stuff. But that's okay. How many matchups do you have then?
Yeah, guys, I've got a couple of matchups. We talked a little bit about fading Rory, and on DraftKings, Bryson's -165. It's funny because Scotty's like it's almost $3 against Rahm, and I think Bryson versus Rory is a way better bet than Scotty versus Rahm, to be honest. So 165, Mitch, you said it off air. That's basically a field goal in a football game, right? So I like that a lot. I like Bryson a lot at -165 there. I mentioned that I'm fading Koepka. I'm playing Tony Finau, -125 over Koepka, and Carlos Ortiz at -105 over Nick Taylor. I played that matchup as well. I'll tell you what, guys, one of the things I did bet on DraftKings that people can take a look at, and it's effectively a lottery ticket, but it's kind of interesting. They have these groups on there that are basically five guys in a group, and you can pick one guy in each group and parlay, say, 9 groups. So, you know me and my parlays, I did it this morning, pick one guy in each group, 9 groups, and the most people let me bet was 33 cents, but it's 33 cents to win 244,000. So if you're looking at some like scratch off type bets, some real YOLO parlays, there's some interesting ones on there on DraftKings that you can literally bet change on and maybe run hot and win a couple $100,000.
Okay, hold on. You said the key word right there. I have to bring this up. Last year when I went back and I was hanging at your place and your golf club for that weekend, they put on, a buddy of mine, Scott, put on the Dexter Moss Memorial Race, my dog that passed away a couple years ago. And so we went back to the Indianapolis area, and we met you on Friday night. Scratch-offs, Paulie, are huge in the Midwest.
Oh, yeah, no
right?
doubt.
Gigantic,
yeah.
right?
Who do you think you're talking to?
So, Jeff, how many did we buy, and what did we hit overall?
Pull tabs. Mitch, that was pull tabs.
Oh, pull tabs. Yeah, same thing, whatever.
Oh,
yeah. Same thing.
What did we buy, 500?
Yeah, I think we had $500 worth. I think we cashed in like $30, maybe got some Busch Lights.
Oh, my, yeah.
That's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, scratch-offs are big there, too. Scratch-offs are big in Southern California. They're in every gas station and trying to, pull tabs, scratch-offs, everything, yeah.
We had like a 6-top table at this bar on a Friday night, and it was littered. You couldn't see anything. You couldn't even see the table because it was all pull tabs.
Yeah.
We had hundreds of them.
A buddy of mine who owns a bar here because bars can legally sell them, and he regularly covers his payroll with pull tab revenue. It's amazing.
I bet.
Yeah. Oh, God. Makes me think of the McDonald's game with the on the HBO documentary.
Oh, yeah.
McMillions.
McMillions,
was that so good? The guy who had the... Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah. Are you going to the game tomorrow night in Indy?
I'm not, fellas. Like you said, I'll be watching it. I'll be watching them at the beach club here at my club. But no, I'm excited. I'm not going to pay $1,500 for a lower level ticket, but I'm counting on a big bounce back from Holly Halliburton. He has to show up, and hopefully we can take these two and win 4 games to 2, and I can cash my Bryson parlay.
You take the points yet, or are you just going to ride that out? That 4-2.
I'm gonna ride it. I may take the points, but I've got to bet with the guys. I'll have the points, but. No, it'll be fun. I think we're going to come back and win, but OKC's tough. We all know that. It's going to be a great game, guys. I'm excited about it.
All right, pal. That was awesome. Go get him again this week. You've been red hot. Let's make it continue, okay?
Sounds great, fellas. Talk soon.
There you go. Jeff Seeley on the Progressive Guest Line. A lot there. Wes Reynolds going to join us, by the way, coming up in about 40 minutes. His best bets, U.S. Open, and he's also going to – well, he is going to go to the game tomorrow night in Indy. Both those guys, Hoosiers. How many of those bets, guys, do you have so far? I'm glad to be on a bunch of his names that he rattled off there.
Stanford Steve always has the hate bet. He would bet on Serena Williams because he didn't like her.
Yeah.
So if she win, I guess I have to do that with DeChambeau, too. I can't stand him.
Why don't you like him? The guy's done a total 180.
Yeah, it's phony. It's forced. It's not.
I don't think it is.
It's not sincere.
I think it is. I think he's the real deal. Plus, I can't. I've won. I was on in both tournaments when he won last year. I won. There was a book that left up when he was making that run at the PGA last year. They left up 46-1. I'm like, oh my God, that's going to be that's an unbelievable number. Grabbed it and he won that. And I was also on Matthew Wolff big back in 2020. But it was basically going into Sunday. It was down to Wolff and DeChambeau, and so I just hedged my guts out on DeChambeau, and he came back to win it, and he was awesome on Sunday. So his 2 prior U.S. Open victories, I've been on the guy, and I've won a fortune to him, and that's why I love him.
Top debutante, Ben Griffin, plus 360. I think they're all playing for second place.
Well,
this
then you
weekend.
got to make it 2. You got to bet that big,
at the 70-1 as well. Top lefty, McIntyre plus 250, Harmon plus 350. Where's Phil? Phil's 7-1.
Paul, I will tell you right now that there's a market that you have to pay attention to. They don't do it every week. I know books offer it for majors, and they offer first round, top 5, top 10. It's a great way to get huge prices on some of these guys.
That's some English. You do a little English there.
I think English, absolutely. Yeah.
Top pass champion. DeChambeau 2-1, McIlroy 3, Rahm as well, Spieth 12, Koepka 18, Fitzpatrick 20. See, I'd take a piece of Fitzpatrick. I don't want any part of Koepka.
No, he's like the one guy that jumps off that list, yeah.
Rose 25-1. Rose, first-round leader, always seems to be in the mix.
Sure.
Right?
A lot of events, yeah. Yeah. What is he, by the way? I did not look at him. Do you have a number on him for first-round leader? But that would be, again, a guy to maybe explore here for top 5, top 10 first round.
Yeah. That's going to be great, especially if they look like fools out there, is what we're rooting for and hoping for. that video today of the guy with the putting, where it just did you get enough? Is it going to get up on the green? And it doesn't stop it. It goes almost off the green.
120 yards out.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's on X, so you can check it out.
David Purdom, ESPN up next. We'll discuss FanDuel's decision today in the state of Illinois, and online abuse is out of control to athletes.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
A lot to get into with Derek Stevens, owner, CEO of Circle Las Vegas. He makes his weekly appearance here every single Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 out here on the West Coast. Good to see you again. How are you today?
Great to see you guys.
You love the College World Series. You're taking a lot of people back to Omaha, including us, tomorrow. We're going to be broadcasting shows along with Money Moves Thursday. Friday, we'll be broadcasting Saturday as well. This is going to be a great event. You know, a lot of people have this on their bucket list to be there. Are you stoked at the field here? This is absolute chaos what's going on.
I love it. 8 teams that didn't make it last year. People are coming out of the woodwork. I just went online just to see. My assistant booked all of our hotel rooms, right? You know, we're staying at the Omaha Hilton, kind of where a lot of teams stay, like right in the hub of everything. I wanted to go see what the room rates look like. Like almost everything was sold out, and then I saw, well, there's a couple of rooms available. The prices were ridiculous. So, I think all these teams had a lot of pent up demand that you're going to see. You're going to see them all showing up, and then with all the you know the younger people, you know, that pack 4-6 to a room. I mean, it's going to be something. Omaha's going to be packed, so we're looking forward to it.
Only 2 from the SEC. When they got 13 bids.
Yeah.
Would you sign up for a Murray State Coastal Carolina final? What was Murray State 700-1?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we have Murray at right now? We have Murray at plus 29. Is it plus 29.50 right now?
They have to because they're in the same thing as same bracket as LSU and Arkansas.
Yeah. I mean they're in the tough bracket.
Yep.
That's the tough thing. That's where in a lot of ways I kind of like Coastal. Coastal's on the other side of things, you know. And think about these matchups are going to be great. I mean, leading off with Arizona, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arizona got pounded by North Carolina 18-2 in the first game and came back and beat them.
Yeah,
North Carolina was playing unbelievable baseball.
Who would have thought Arizona? Yeah, who would have thought after that game 1 of the Super that Arizona would be in this mix? I mean, that's probably why these room rates went up. There wasn't a single Arizona fan that was booking a flight until they knocked him out.
Pat Forty, who works for Sports Illustrated, did his rankings for the Jell-O Shot Challenge. Fans, he has LSU fans number 1.
Yeah.
He says no one gets after it like LSU fans.
Yeah, I mean, if let's just say this is the Jell-O Shot odds right now. I just did an interview at ESPN down in New Orleans a little while ago. LSU's a minus favorite. I mean, they're probably minus 125 over the field.
Over the field?
Over the field.
Yeah. Look at 40. The wooden era UCLA fan base of drinking. He calls it. Check in at number 1. Arkansas number 2.
I've never seen this before. I've never seen this. I definitely would have put Arkansas at 2. And based upon some inside information from Kevin and his wife, you know, they own Rocco's. Where it's at. They said, do not overlook Coastal. When Coastal was there 10 years ago, they came out of the woodwork.
Beautiful. I love hearing that.
They travel. I like that. Teal is real.
Now, how about this? He also put UCLA 8th, and he said it feels like a high noon seltzer crowd. That's a shot, huh?
That's a shot.
Now, you guys have high noon here. I like some of the flavors, actually. They're not bad. But, ooh, boy. And now, did you guys think about this? The now defunct Pac-12 would have 3 teams this year.
Oh, my God. Oregon State, UCLA, and Arizona. Yeah.
How about that?
That's unbelievable. I never looked at it that way. You're right.
Yeah. Man.
So on the early money, you know, this is an important event to shop around a little bit. There's a lot of shops that have Arkansas as a favorite. Some have LSU as a favorite. It's flip-flop back and forth. Now we've moved to Arkansas as a favorite.
We did.
But we also just took a guy that walked in about 27.5 on the no Arkansas because we're offering the no's. So currently we've got Arkansas at plus 215. They were at plus 220 earlier this morning. We took Arkansas money, and then the guy just came in and bet the no. Louis, I'm sorry. Now LSU's the second choice at plus 230.
Really? Okay. All right. Very good. What is going on here at Circa on July 19th where you can drink for free and then you have a chance at winning like $500 every 90 seconds?
Yeah, we did this thing the other night on Tim Murray's show. Wilbo was over here, I was here, and we screwed up the math. It's like we're giving away they made it more difficult than it should be. It's like $500 every 90 seconds.
Yeah.
So
for 15 minutes?
What?
Is it for 15 minutes?
So that's $1,000 every 3 minutes, right? It's like $15,000. I think is what the total is. So that's how they're doing it. It's just in hot seats. So we're trying to do something.
You're trying to fill up every machine.
We're trying to do something called Slotapalooza. In the middle of summer, we're coming up with something here.
Yeah,
we want to try to get everybody in the casino, and we're trying to get everybody on a machine. And we got giveaways throughout the day, bars, but there's this period of time that our crack staff came up with this great idea of let's give away free drinks at every bar in the whole joint for 2 hours. Okay, that'll probably bring people in, I would bet, It's going to happen. And then after this opening hour of a cocktail party, find your seat. You better find a seat because then we're going to go crazy on these hot seats. And the goal is to try to get every machine in play. We didn't go the route of Guinness because that's too complicated in licensing. We're just trying to have a lot of fun here. There's 1,312 slot machines inside of Circa. So we bought 1,312 shirts to say you're part of the 1312 club if you happen to be here that day. And we're giving away a lot of money if you're playing.
July 19th.
There we go. Slotapalooza.
All right, very good.
Does anything go at the bar?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be beer and mixed drinks and things like that. It won't be Louis. It won't be, it'll be, there's a threshold. I got to get our beverage guys that say nothing. But no, it'll be all beer, wine, and mixed drinks, soft drinks, stuff like that.
Great job. Santa Claus again. Nuts. Okay, so how the Greg Maddux poker tournament and also the weekend with the Family Feud, how did that turn out? How'd the poker tournament go?
How fun was that? I loved
unbelievable.
it. I played in the poker tournament last year, played this year. It was a lot of fun. Mike Palm did a great job running this show.
Did. Yep.
This was like a turbo. I mean, these blinds were like, hey, blinds are 500, 1,000. Hey, blinds are 1,500, 3,000. Hey, blinds are now 6,000, 12,000.
10-minute levels.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. It was fun. You got to get some cards when you're playing in a turbo. But we all had a good time. You guys both lasted a good while.
I was at the table with Greg Maddux, and then before I could even say hello and whatever, and it'd say, loved you with the Cubs, I was knocked out. I open-ended straight flush draw, and Steve Buckets knocked me out, and I could have tripled up, and then you lasted longer than I did.
Derek and I got knocked out on the same hand.
Yeah.
Bob here, a local who's an awesome guy, listens to VSiN all the time. He had two pair. Right?
Yeah.
I think he drew a deuce on the flop because we had kings going in, and he took me down as a result of that. And that, I think he must have, triple or quadrupled his stack at that point. I mean, it was a huge hand that he took down.
He took that hand that he took all of our chips, and he used that to launch him to. He got to the final table.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he finished third. He did
very
all
good.
right.
You took a bad beat. I walked over. You had 3 queens. You got knocked out. A guy had a flush, river to flush.
Yeah, that's what. And then and I got Scott Boras is at the other end of the table.
Boras
He's like, I don't know how to play. He was sitting there for a lot longer than I was.
Yeah,
he was an interesting character. I was really trying to push him a little bit. He said, "What do you think about?" I'm like, "What am I going to do? I'll negotiate you? Come on, you're the guy's the best negotiator in the world."
Yeah.
All I kept saying is, I'm like, I'll tell you what. Scuba wants to stay in Detroit no matter what you say. No matter what you say, Mr. Boras.
Good move.
Yeah. I will say this. You're right. Playing poker, especially turbocharged like that, it was the afterburners were on immediately. It's every 10 minutes you're changing the ante. If you don't have cards, you can't bluff these guys because they're right. I mean, it's like they had maybe it's because of the table I was at to begin. They had hands every single time.
Yeah.
So if you have deuce 4, 3-7, you're SOL.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I think we're going to keep growing this. That was a great event. That was a great weekend. All weekend long, all these guys hanging around. Johnny Gomes, what a character this guy is.
As soon as I walk up, it's Fred McGriff, the crime dog.
Yeah, crime dog's there.
I saw Vince Coleman.
Yeah, Vince Coleman. Dwight Hicks from the 49ers. great Michigan guy too, hanging around.
These baseball players retire out here, play golf, that kind of thing, or are they Arizona, Florida? Where do they retire
they're
to?
all like Greg's buddies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He just has an unlimited amount of celebrities. Hey, you want to come out, want to hang out for a few days? We're going to do this, that, have a good time, and bust each other's chops a little bit. This was fun.
The open bar and the free slot play, July 19th. Get down to Circa and always CircaLasVegas.com. Want to bet smarter this football season? Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Full year, just $199. Plus a free pre-order of the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook by Applebaum. No-nonsense guide to reading the market, spotting sharp action, and making smarter bets. Sign up now. Get the morning email from Bill 80. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits, DK and Circa. The dog videos, and our NFL betting guide, which drops July 1st. Limited time offer. Get it now. Code BOOK, promo code BOOK to sign up, vsin.com/subscribe.
Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us as always. We appreciate that, and we're looking forward to tomorrow. See you in Omaha tomorrow night.
I'll see you in Omaha tomorrow night. See you on the shows.
There you go. Derek Stevens with us up next. We'll recap our bets from last night and tell you what we've added for tonight and this week with in-pocket plays next here on VSiN.